Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. My name is Tepiso, and I am the Marketing Assistant based in EIT South African Administration Office. If this is your first time here, welcome. And if you are a returning webinar participant of the Engineering Institute of Technology, thank you for stopping by once more. It really is a pleasure to have you here. I'm just going to ask that you give me a thumbs up in the chat box if you can hear and see me clearly, please. Can you guys hear me and see me? Thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. Moving right along, please take note of the notifications and sound slide that is up on your screen. This is the slide that is for all incoming notifications from Teams. If you are wanting to actually make sure that you aren't able to hear any notifications that might come through during the webinar. Some common questions as well as FAQs rather. Please note you'll receive a copy of the slides as well as the recording at the end of the webinar or within 1 to 2 business days. This will be sent by EIT's marketing team, and they will make sure that you have access to these within 2 business days, essentially. Hopefully tomorrow this will come through from the team. Now, today's webinar is going to be effective presentation skills for researchers, techniques to deliver impactful presentations at conferences or during defenses. So we actually had a DEng conference a couple of days ago, and this would have come in handy for all of you who want to go defend your thesis to a panel or supervisors. So this should be a really great one. This one is presented as always by Emeritus Professor Akhtar Kalam, and he is an EIT professor as well as other titles that he holds within the engineering space. Now, if this is your first time here, this is a little bit more about EIT. We are an engineering specialist offering engineering programs that are industry orientated and delivered by industry expert. We offer world-class Australian qualifications, and they are accredited by the Australian government, that is, and then some of our programs are actually accredited under the Dublin Accord, Washington Accord, and the Sydney Accord, according to the Engineering Alliance. And then our industry lecturers are actually experienced. They've worked in the field and now are teaching. And lastly, we offer a unique delivery model, rather, where we offer programs 100% online, regardless of which program that you'd like to study. But we also offer on-campus programs to people who'd like to go to Australia and study, that being the bachelor's, master's, as well as the Doctor of Engineering programs. So, of course, as I've mentioned, today's professor is Professor Akhtar Kalam, Emeritus Professor Akhtar Kalam, of course. He will introduce himself. Please note, if you have any questions, please leave them in the chat box. If you'd like to ask your questions live with Professor Kalam, please make sure to tell me in the chat box or the Q&A portion, and I will be happy to give you presenter rights so that you're able to ask your questions live. If you have questions relating to the Engineering Institute of Technology, you can leave them on there, and I'll do my best to answer you guys as much as possible. Thank you for your time. I will see you at the end of the presentation. Professor Kalam, you can go ahead and take control of the slides and start with your presentation.
Thank you very much, Tripushio, and good afternoon, good day to all of you. Thank you very much for coming to today's presentation. This might be one of the most important presentations for most of you who are doing a doctoral program. So besides the welcome that I give you, traditional welcome, the Australian welcome, good day, as I said. But this is a very important session because I wanted to show you how to develop a powerful presentation skills. And that is very essential for a doctoral researchers. It is immaterial in which stage of life you are in your doctoral study. Whether you are in the first year, second year, third year, it doesn't make any difference which year you are in, but you will have to share your skills that you've attained with others, whether you go to conferences, you give keynote addresses, whatever you do, or the most important thing is when you are defending your thesis. So that is when this presentation skills is very important. This is half the battle. Half the battle is actually doing the work, and the other half is being able to defend your thesis in front of a panel of examiners and others who will be there. As far as I'm concerned, I'm at EIT, and I do consulting work for EIT. I teach in EIT. I write programs for them. And many PhD students and DEng students have graduated under my supervision. So uh, the education that I had originally come from India, and then I did my education in the United States and UK. I've been in Australia for more than 45 years. I'm a member of all the various bodies that are there and the engineering bodies. So that's why I practice what I teach. That means I do a lot of consulting work. Now, in this presentation, what do I want to do? I'm going to tell you what are the challenges in presentation.
Professor
Then,
Kalam, excuse me, could you please take
yes,
control of the slides?
oh, just a minute, I forgot.
No
I
problem,
forgot.
sir.
This is sign of old age, you understand.
Okay,
Uh,
and then just magnify, click on the buttons for high presenter view so that you're
no, no,
able to see.
but I have taken the slide control. Nothing comes, so I'm sure it's all right. Can you see?
Yes, I
Yeah.
can see you're on the agenda.
So should I do magnified slide? Is it
High presenter view, rather.
uh, uh, magnified slide for all?
No, you choose high presenter
No,
view, not
no. The
magnify.
height is not there. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
It is not there.
Yeah. That
Okay,
that that three button has gone somehow.
okay.
I at the moment, can you see my slide or not?
Yes, I can see your slide, Professor. It's the presentation and challenges slide, right?
Yeah, yeah, presentation and challenges,
Are
and
you
see,
able to
I've
see?
I've I've come to the presentation and challenges. The agenda. Can you see it?
Yes, yes, I can.
It is it. So then it's all right.
Okay, no problem then.
Okay. Unless they can't see it, then it's a different matter. If they can see it, then there's no problem.
Okay, guys, please tell us if you're able to see the slides up on your screen by just giving us a thumbs up so that the professor can continue with the presentation.
Yeah,
Um,
Shobna has said yes.
Shobna, please tell us if you can see the slides by just giving us a thumbs up, please. Thank
Yep.
you.
Alan
Thank
has
you,
given the
Alan.
thumbs up.
Okay, very, very
So
happy with
so
that.
so yeah. Now so first thing I will be doing is first thing that I'll be doing is talking about the challenges, and thank you, Shobna. Um, then I'll be doing the difference between the virtual and hybrid delivery, then the verbal and non-verbal communication, and practicing how to present, time management, and key takeaway with the question and answer. I intend to finish all this in about 45 to 50 minutes time. Now let us see the challenges. And the first thing that comes in my mind, my friends, is why presentation matters. Why do we have to bother about it? And this is very important because effective communication of your research is absolutely vital. So this is as important as your research. And your presentation reflects your confidence, your grasp of the topic, and your professional identity as a researcher. So if you want to communicate effectively, if you want to enhance your, if you want to, just a minute. Anyway, if you can enhance the, uh, if you want to enhance your academic reputation, if you want to build confidence, if you want to be credible, you want to engage in audiences beyond your discipline, then it is important that you be able to make presentation. So now let us see why this is so important. It's very important that you realize this, that this is an important feature, because I'm going to tell you why these presentations are critical. The first thing is that it improves your research communication. Second is that it gives you that credibility. And third thing is that it engages with the audience. So therefore, as I mentioned, that skill, okay, is very important. It's not only the research, but you have to communicate your research to the wider audience. And people will understand your work is important if you can show that you're a credible person. And naturally, if you can engage with the academic audience. Remember, the audience is very smart and they understand. If they come to your presentation, that means they are interested in it, so they know the subject. The next thing that I find is important is that um, the, the thing that is important is that when we look at that, we look at most of the challenges that are there, you can prevent them. And how do you prevent them? Very easy. If you have the right preparation, you can prevent it. So today I will be telling you how you can overcome this systematically. And everyone faces this. You are nervous. There's an anxiety level is very high. Sometimes because of our zeal and enthusiasm, we overload our slides with a lot of text. I have mentioned before, and I repeat again and again, do not put too much text in the slide. The theory is 6 by 6, 6 words in one line and 6 lines in total in one slide. The other thing is that some of us, our delivery is very monotonous. And monotonous means one tone, very casual type, just like Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch the pail of water. It's so boring. Who's going to listen to this? So you look at me, I'm changing my style. My tone is changing, my voice is changing, my pitch is changing, my action is changing, everything is changing, and it's not following one particular pattern. The fourth thing is time management. Now, this is a very common problem which majority of researchers do. Your presentation is scheduled for 20 minutes and you present for 35 minutes. Believe me, if I am the MC, or if I'm the chair of that session, I'm going to cut you off in 20 minutes time, whether you finish the presentation or not. And many times you will find that the most important thing, which is the conclusion of your work, you haven't had time to finish it. And the MC is cutting you off. There's nothing to do. And the fifth thing I want to say, if you cannot handle the questions, that means you have not done the work. Very simple. I have no doubt in telling you that if you have not done the work, then you will not be able to handle the question. And if you have done the work, okay, you will be able to handle all questions. Now, I want to stress the importance of knowing the background of the audience. I want to stress that you should be able to anticipate the questions that will come. I want you to look at how you can adjust the technical depth of your presentation accordingly. So Before you build your presentation, think about the audience. If you're going for a defense of your doctoral program, then you think that there will be examiners who are very qualified people over there. So you have to make your presentation to the level that you are expected. You can't make it a Mickey Mouse presentation. If the general audience who are not from the area, you're just doing a sales pitch, we can do the marketing pitch. But if they are your colleagues, your peers who are there, you have to make sure that you have built your presentation with that type of people who are there. And when I talk about the depth and tone of presentation, that should depend on the familiarity with your field. If you have got familiarity in that field, automatically I find that the depth and the tone of the presentation changes. Now, I want to describe the standard structure. And I can tell you right now, in the standard structure, you're going to have a clear introduction, a logical body, a concise conclusion, and the key takeaways. Look at my presentation itself, you'll find it. You'll find introduction, structure, objectives, steps, etc., etc., etc. So, a logical structure will help the audience follow your thought process. Remember, when you're talking to the audience, think in terms of story. You're giving a story. Okay, except that is an academic part, there's a research component, it's a high level, right? It's not like talking about Red Riding Hood. It is a research that you have done, and you should be able to tell your story to the audience. So there must be a beginning, a middle part, and an end part. And remember, everything has to be concise. Remember, you have a time limitation, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, that's all. Even if you are in a conference presentation, you might only have 10 minutes. So in the introduction, there must be a context. There has to be a significance and objectives. You should not repeat, I have got so many theses that I correct. And I find people writing in the introduction, what is in chapter 1, what is in, that's not required. That is an organization of thesis itself in chapter 1. You will have what is in chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 5, chapter 10. Here, you must explain the context, the significance of your work, and the objective of your work. And the introduction that is there is very important, remember that. Then there could be another one chapter in methods. So talk about the key approach that you have taken. What's the rationale? You might have a chapter on results. Show concise visuals, highlight trends. You might have 1,000 simulation done. The same simulation, say for different parts of the system that you have done the work on. No need of putting all the 1,000 results. If you're so keen on putting every one of them, then have the salient one in the main thesis and put the rest in the appendices. So your visuals should be concise, and you must highlight what are the trends. There's no harm if you've got negative trends or positive trends. People always think that we must have a positive result. There's no such thing. What is the actual result? Don't fib. Don't tell lies. Don't fabricate. Then you do the discussion. In the discussion, you have the interpretation and things that is, you can link your literature to the interpretation part. Again, the conclusion, you summarize your work and you emphasize the contribution. And in the conclusion, do not forget to put the scope for future work. No work is complete. There's always scope for future work. Make the recommendations clearly what the work can go and how it can proceed. So you must have a logical flow of ideas and you have to highlight all the key points. Next, what I want to talk about is minimal text. Do you understand? You should be talking more and put less on the text. The minimal text. It's always good to have visuals. People understand that, especially engineers. They understand visuals very nicely, graphs, things like that. The fonts and colors must be clear. Remember that there are certain colors which looks very nice in the PowerPoint presentation, but when you have it in the large screen, you might not be able to see it. Say a color like yellow, pink, or something like that. You might not be able to see it. So make sure you test the colors and the font and see whether people can see your colors and font which is there. So that way, if they can see it, your audience will be focused and they will be able to comprehend what you have written. So your text slide should be minimal. You should emphasize on visuals and diagrams and look at fonts and colors which people can read. The next thing I want to mention is how can I use my visual effectively? And it's important. We are talking about visuals now, and therefore I'm talking about graphs, charts, images. Okay. So there could be, your problem could be very complex, but I want you to avoid cluttering so that the person who is looking at your slide can easily find that there is no cluttering and the visuals are relevant. So whatever you have got in your slide is the same that you have got in narrative. Do not be talking about one thing on the slide and talk completely different thing on the narrative that you're giving. It must be in that context. You don't read verbatim. Don't just read the slide. That is the worst thing that I see people doing. And never face your back to the audience. Always your front should be facing the audience. Look, I'm facing you. Not my back is facing you. So your slide which is there must support the narrative. Okay. It should not distract people because people can get very distracted. You're talking about a problem in power system and you are talking in the picture, you are in the narrative, you're talking about a heart patient. Twain do not meet. And then people get distracted. They are not sure what are you talking about. So I always say, the simpler the system, the better it is. But it must be clear. Clarity has to be there. So aim for simplicity and clarity. Again, I come back. Storytelling. Remember, I told you, can you tell a story of the research that you've done? Look at this. Can you see? What's the difference between cluttering and normal slide? A good slide is like that, and this is cluttering. Don't have cluttered slides. Now, I did talk about storytelling because many people do not understand. Many people think I'm joking. I'm not joking. I really mean it. This is a story that you want to tell. It's your story, my friends. So you have to get your narrative to contextualize your research. And you have to make sure that the audience is interested. Therefore, you have to point out the significance and outcomes. So you've contextualized your research, you have used the narrative to maintain interest, and you have highlighted the significance and outcomes. Now we're talking about virtual and hybrid delivery. Very important to realize this thing, virtual and hybrid delivery. Nowadays in conferences, especially post-COVID, many conferences allow people to do their presentation virtually. I do a lot of presentation. I give lectures all over the world. And with all these Zoom and Teams and other things which are there, I don't have to go outside my comfort zone in Melbourne. And people all over the world are listening to me. So this becomes a very good thing. Sometimes a hybrid model is also followed. So to do the virtual presentation, my friends, extra effort is required because I need to make sure that I have engaged my audiences. So you have to be interactive and you have to use your visual cues effectively. Look at this. I've got this. I'm talking about what is the difference between a hybrid and a virtual attendees. Virtual attendees is somewhere sitting geographically apart from you. You are in South Africa. I'm in Australia. But a hybrid meeting is also there are a few people in the room and you're talking to them. So this is one of the biggest mistakes many researchers do. They do not test the system before they come to the presentation. Even today, if you listen to Stripesio, 15 minutes before I started the presentation, I've been giving this presentation for so many years. I always check whether it is working. When she says it's working, then I know it is working. Even she is not 100% confident. She asked you, show the thumbs up. This is a very important problem that people forget about it. So make sure that you check your equipment and internet properly. Maintain eye contact. I always say to everyone, your eye should be facing the camera. There is my camera, I'm facing the eye. My eye is facing there. If my eye is facing there, you are seeing me. You're not seeing my back, you're seeing my front. So remember, my friends, when we talk nowadays, those days have gone when you used to use monotonous, your lips were moving. Now my hand is moving, my eye is moving, my ears are moving, my whole body is moving, all my chromosome is moving, and everyone is contacting you. So use the slides which is there, which is optimized for screen viewing. And it's a good thing if you can stop in between because we do not have time. Or normally I'd like to stop and take polls or ask questions. Not a bad thing, but because we have shortage of time, not only for this lecture, you will face this too. You wish your lectures were 1 hour long, 2 hours long. We can't get that type of time. People don't have that much of time to listen to one lectures. After that, I have told you the techniques is very simple. Look at that, what I've got over here. Okay. Maintain the eye contact. Look at the eye contact. The eye is talking to you, my friend. Eye contact. Can you see? There's the eye is contacting. Voice modulation, up and down. The pitch is not going, not monotonous. Pacing. Because it is a virtual lecture, I'm sitting on my chair and doing it. But if you're doing it personally, I hate lecturers who sit down in a classroom on a nice, cushy chair and the students are all sitting. Half the students go to sleep then. I believe you must be pacing up and down, going up in the class. You should keep on moving, distract the crowd, make sure that they are completely focused on you. Use body language. Okay? See, your voice is the thing, everything, your mouth, your interaction, use it. But please remember, do not read the slide verbatim. Therefore, I said, control your voice, control your tone, control your pace, have a good body language. And the body language is, hey, can you see? I know you're not deaf, but still I'm moving my hands so that you can, even if you cannot hear me properly, my hand is giving you motion of what I'm talking about. Now, how do I handle questions? This is the most important session, Q&A session. And most of the researchers have a stage fright. They're absolutely, uh, you know, afraid of question and answer session. Don't be afraid. The first important thing is that listen to the question. If you haven't listened to the question, what are you going to answer? I have seen many people before the question is asked, they have answered the question. And most probably 90% of the time they got it wrong. Listen to the question, understand. If you cannot understand, ask the person to repeat it again. If required, clarify the question. And therefore, be confident in your response and don't make it a big story. Remember, the time is very limited. In that limited time, you have to respond the question which has been asked. So be very precise. I think it's like a surgical strike. Then what I want to say is my next section is verbal and non-verbal communication. And this is an interesting part. As I told you, it's not only the voice, my friend. It is the, can you see this lady? Can you see her? See how her hands are moving. That is the body language that she is using. And that gives someone who is listening to this lady confidence. And everyone is enthusiastic trying to listen to this lady. My friend, it doesn't come easy, but the best thing is that I want you to do, practice in front of a mirror or record yourself so they can see what type of delivery you're giving. Then you can correct yourself. So speak clearly, vary the tone and pace, maintain eye contact and posture, use the gestures purposefully, and pause for emphasis. Pause. Stop. Let people think about what you have been talking about. Then this is one thing which is very common, nervousness. And believe me, everyone gets nervous. You might be the best lecturer in the world, you can get nervous. I used to get nervous all the time. What did I do? I started doing rehearsals. I started doing breathing exercise. Some people might like to do yoga. I started focusing on the message rather than being afraid of what I'm trying to say. Practice, practice, practice is the word. I've repeated it 3 times. Practice it repeatedly. The more you practice, the better it is. Try to get feedback. Visualize the success that you get because of this presentation. Use breathing techniques. As I told you, yoga is a very good way of doing it. It's always good to breathe before you start speaking so you do not suffocate. focus on the message. And do not be afraid. I'm telling you over and over again, do not be afraid. My friend, focus on the message. Do not fear. Okay? Don't focus on yourself. Now, I want to show you how to practice what you are going to present. This is an interesting section. How do I practice? And some strategies I want to talk to you today. And I want you to encourage you. As a matter of fact, I want you to practice with your peers. Do the timing. Okay, you've got a watch, you've got the computer, you can do the timing. And record yourself. What's the problem? By recording, you can do your self-review yourself. So time your presentation, practice with peers. Peers could be your student, your staff members, your colleagues, your whatever, whoever it is. And record and review the delivery that you have made. Was your tone right? Did you stop in the right places? Were you clear? Now, advanced visual design. Now, this one, which I want to talk about, is I want to highlight the consistency in style. If you look at it, you want it in such a way that your image is of very high quality, very sharp. There's effective use of color. See, I've got the same figure. One is this is before and after I've manipulated, and I've got this is much more clearer than this. So if you use the appropriate color and appropriate contrast, you can get sharp images. You have to spend a bit of time, you'll get used to that. Voice modulation. This many people do not know how to do this. That's why I said you become monotonous. I use the Jack Angel went up the hill to fetch the pillow. You get sleep, man. Go and sleep. Lullaby baby type of song I'm singing. That's not what storytelling is all about. So what you need to do is vary the pitch, vary your tone, emphasize and maintain interest, and only highlight key points. So make sure you do that. Then body language. People have got this this psychology, and your body can actually give you an impression of what you're trying to talk about. So look at the postures, various postures. These powerful and purposeful gestures. You avoid distracting habits to convey confidence. By just doing this, I have distracted your audience from anywhere else but only towards me. So you've got an open posture, you're emphasizing to talk about a point, you avoid distracting habits. The techniques for storytelling, I don't know whether you've heard this or not, but your grandmother would have told you beautiful stories in the olden times. And just remember those stories. And there are various types of techniques which is there. You can use analogies and metaphors. Okay, you can use clear narrative, or you can engage both the emotions and logic. And the more you use these techniques, the better your story becomes. Slide animation. And I've seen many of my students doing the slide animation. And I suggest to people, don't use this transition one. You've got this in your PowerPoint, you've got this transition when the slide moves. Don't do that. Or if you do have to do it sparingly. Because you remember, you're talking about professionalism. You have to be professional. Again, this is not a class 7, class 8, high school type of students you're addressing. These are all postgraduate students. So you have to tell them the critical information just by moving the slides up and down or having a transition format is not good enough. Then the defense. You have to defend your thesis at some stage. So I want you to know that you have to know the material thoroughly. If you do not know, you will not be able to handle. You may not be able to handle the question. Remember the other side. The person has read your thesis. The person knows about your thesis, and the panel is interested in your answers. Sometimes they do not know the answer to the question. They're asking you genuine question. They're not trying to tell you how smart they are. You have to prove that you have done the work, and that's the only way they can find out. And the only way you can do that if you know your research thoroughly. So there's no such thing as tough questions, but if there is any challenging questions, anticipate them. And stay calm under pressure. Don't lose your cool. Someone asked you a question you have no idea of at all. You can't say you are an idiot. He will fail you, my friend. Don't do that. Stay calm. Peace. God is with those who have patience. So, time management. As I told you, it's very important that you have that. And I can't stress more on that time management because there's a limit to the time. If you are told to make your presentation in 25 minutes, you have to do it in 25 minutes, 45 minutes, 45 minutes. It's always good to do it within the time, say 2-3 minutes before the time. That way, you have stuck to your allocated time. You have prioritized your key points and you have monitored your audience engagement. So remember that things. Time is very important. Or someone will cut you off and you may not be able to complete the most important part, which is the conclusion part. How do you handle question? And remember one thing, if you have got a good Q&A session going on, that means people are interested in the work that you've done. Yeah. And remember, many people are asking you questions, but they're not asking you to tell you how smart they are. The genuine question. They may want to collaborate with you. They're not there for confrontation. So remember, listen to their question before you start answering. Don't answer before they have completed the question. If you cannot understand, ask them to rephrase. Stay composed. There's nothing wrong to pause. And if you're not sure, there's nothing wrong, okay? You suggest that I've only done this much and okay, I'll consider this in my thesis. Okay, very good. This is for future work. Things like that. Don't say anything stupid. Then many people in the olden days, not anymore, I don't see it anymore, used to give handout. Okay. And sometimes they used to do that. It was pretty good in the olden days when they used to give a summary of it, used for references, not reading, and it used to ensure clarity and organizations. I don't think many people do it nowadays. But that is something, if you want to give an handout, there's nothing wrong with it. Not that it is a must. Practice, my friend. Practice, practice, and the more feedback you get, the better it is. I must tell you, the feedbacks are very important because that is the research process. Each rehearsal that you do, it sharpens your delivery. And when I was a student, we used to have a lot of mock presentation. I used to make people sit down to listen to me. And I used to ask them, give me some feedback, my friends. Let me know what is it happening. Okay? Get feedback from your supervisors, get feedback from your peers, get feedback from your faculty, get feedback from industry if you've got industry contact. The more feedback you get, the better your thesis will become. Always record and review your performance. Just don't take the feedback and throw it in a dustbin. Utilize it, refine your work. Refine your work, refine your presentation on the feedback that you have received. Now, after you've done this, I believe that you should reflect on what actually happened. And I always, even now, I always ask for people to send me their feedback because every time I do that, I improve myself. So encourage feedback, seek feedback, identify these areas of important or improvement, plan for future presentation. And the more presentation you will do, the better it will become. And 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 most important thing people forget, and that is you meet all these people in the presentation, network with them, and you've created a whole network of people. So you've engaged with the audience, you've exchanged contacts. If you've got business cards, give it to them. If not, nowadays you don't need business cards. Just get an email address and start the negotiation, exchange contacts, and you might look at possible collaboration. Then continues. There is no work, right, which is 100% clear, which is complete. You have to act, you have to plan, you have to do, you have to check. You have to act, you have to plan, you have to do, you have to check. So there is no work where you can say that I am absolute, I'm the best presenter in the world. Look at other people's presentation, attend those presentations. Then look at what type of effective methods they have used that they have improvised on their presentation and apply that lesson in your presentation. Then I would like you to do this following on the day when you're having your defense of your thesis or viva voce as they call it. Always check the slide whether it's working all right. Have a backup copy just in case something goes wrong. Make sure you've tested the equipment. Make sure you dress professionally. Make sure you stay calm and confident. It's a very important thing, this dress professionally that I've mentioned. In England, when we were there, I still remember in my time, when you were going to defend your PhD or DEng work, your doctorate work, we used to buy a new suit and go in a new suit. I'm not saying you do it. It's not common at all in Australia. But in England, it was very, very common. People would wear a new proper suit on that day. Definitely don't go in jeans. What are my key takeaway? My key takeaway is that, okay, you better keep everything simple. Arrive early, my friend. Don't say your bus was late, your tram was late, your train was late. Those are silly excuses. If you're afraid that the time is not there, be there half an hour, 1 hour before. What's the problem? Make sure you have checked where the defense is going to be and trust your preparation. As I said, this effective presentation is a skill and it grows. The more you get the presentation, the more it builds up. The goal is not to be perfect, but progress and connect with your audience. That's what I want you to do. No one can give a perfect presentation. There's always some flaw here and there. But should progress and connect with your audience. So prepare, because preparation will build up your confidence. Remember, simplicity will make the presentation very clear. Engagement will reflect your credibility, and practice makes presentation memorable. Then I've given some hints on some of the uh, research. I always like the TED Talks. I don't know whether people hear that or not. Whatever universities or colleges or institution that you are in, your graduate research office will also have a lot of communication skill workshop. I think you should go in that. And the more you go to that, the better you will learn. So now we come to the question and answer session. I would like to take the time to thank every one of you to come to this presentation. I now invite questions. I encourage discussions. Okay. And there's nothing wrong if you want to give your experiences to us. So as Tiposhu mentioned, you can write in the chat box or you can ask that verbally. You'll have to ask Tiposhu to connect to you. Thank you very much. It has been great talking to you. And I hope you have enjoyed this presentation too. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Professor Kalam. We truly do appreciate your presentation. As Professor Kalam has mentioned, we are now opening the floor for questions. And whilst he is doing so, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you about the upcoming dates that we have for the DEng program, that being online as well as on campus. So the online version is open for application currently, and it is starting on the 9th of February. And then the on-campus course is starting on the 16th of February. And remember, the program is in Perth for the on-campus presentation, or the on-campus course rather. Please take note that the application for the Doctor's Engineering program is quite different. You will need to submit a detailed application that will include an essay. So if you are looking to apply, please take the time to actually compile those documents as well as your essay and presentation as to why you'd like to study the program rather, and actually apply in time so that your application meets the deadline for applying for the year 2026. I do see people sending their gratitude, Professor Kalam. Not sure if we have questions. However, I'm just going to wait and see.
Well, I mean, many of them have just thanked for the useful information.
Yes,
Some of
I
them
do
thought that
see
it was
that.
amazing, and thank you very much. How do you set up such a lovely background? Believe me, I pinched it from Shipeshio. That's all I've done. She is the architect of that, not me. That
Yeah.
that is her work, and believe me, uh, I'm hopeless. My sense is also hopeless, and I'm hopeless.
I,
But
I, I,
Shipeshio has done all that.
Trust me, he's not hopeless. He is an emeritus professor at the end of the day. He's just pulling your leg. Alan, he is quite great at what he does. However, guys, please note that our last presentation for this Doctor of Engineering webinar is taking place next month on the 4th of December, as well as Yeah, on the 4th of December. And then we will start again in the year 2026. However, we do have something exciting. You're going to see Professor Kalam a lot more next year. And the presentations he'll be holding will actually have certificates of attendance. So you are going to see him and you are going to gain a lot more knowledge in the engineering field, electrical engineering, as well as delving into industrial automation. So keep an eye out on our events page as well as the webinars page, and you will get a chance to interact with him much more. In the year 2026. So you still have time with him. However, for this DEng presentation, the last presentation is going to take place on the 4th of December 2025, and then we will resume next year in 2026. Percy, you're asking if you can suggest the best colors that can make the slide
It's a
look
very good
good.
question, Chipeshu. It's a very good question she has asked. Prosy has asked a very good question. What is the best color that can make the slide looks great? To be very honest with you, Prosy, the best color is white color. Just look at the slide that Chipeshu has got over there. Very clear, very pristine, very, very, you know, very informative. It gives you the picture very clearly. There is no hesitation. Okay. Uh, as an engineer, I'm only talking as an engineer. As an engineer, we always like blue color. I like blue color myself. And but then, please don't use colors. They are very good colors. I'm not denying that. Very vibrant colors, pinks and other things. Golden color, yellowish, light yellowish color. Those are very difficult to read. If you understand what I'm trying to say, Prosy, you want to make sure that those are easy to understand and read. I hope
This is
I've
true.
clarified that, Prosy. Kugana War Child has said that he's happy. Although his network was poor, but I attended a short time, I learned something. Thank you very much, Kugonza. Thank you very much. In any case, you can get the presentation from Shipeshu. She can tell you the link that you can get that. So it's not something that you've lost too much. You can actually get it.
It,
And although your network was poor, but you can see that in your own time, at your own place, at your own pace. And thank you again, Prosy, not only for asking questions, but for participating in the Q&A session.
This is actually true, Professor Kalam. However, I'm just going to wait for another 2 minutes because you are on time, Professor Kalam, and you have 2 minutes before we can close the session to see if we have another question. I do see Wakamuna is typing. This is a seasoned EIT alumni. He has been with us for quite a long time, and he is a regular participant of the Doctor of Engineering webinar. Regarding the slides, Percy, it depends on what you're actually what are you presenting on? Obviously, if it's a professional setting, please use solid colors. This is your blues, your grays, nothing too bright. Also, make sure that the font of the color matches with the actual presentation. So if you have a red background, it's not going to work. If you're putting a yellow font, it won't work. Okay, there we go.
There's
We do
one
have.
very good question from Shobna.
Mhm.
First of all, thank you very much, Yukomina, for your kind comments. But Shobna has asked a very important question. How do you handle questions or rudeness or interruptions while presenting? This happens many times. I have had this problem myself. Be calm, right? This person is not going to kill you. I mean, I have no problem even facing Donald Trump. Okay, I've got no problems. Believe me, I've got no problems. Okay, I get, even if he's the rudest person in the world, I'm not saying he's rude, I'm just saying even if he's, or he interrupts everyone. That may be his style. He might like to upset you. He might like to upset the presentation. Just be calm. Give it a pause, my friend. Shobna, just give it a pause. Wait for 20 seconds, 30 seconds. And then if I was you, Shobna, I would say that's a very kind observation. So give someone a slap in return, but with politeness. With politeness, remember, with politeness. Be polite. So no need to respond a rude person with a rude answer. That way you never win the battle. Shobna, you'll win the battle if you show, thank you very much. That was a very interesting question. You can always start like that. And then, you understand. You see this every time in a doctor's surgery. That people start shouting at the receptionist. It's not the receptionist which is the problem. The doctor has told them that unless and until I finish, do not send them inside. What else can that person do? So it's written over there. Okay? She's just following orders. So remember this thing. Those who are rude, there are few people who are rude. Those who are rude, they always do it like that. What? Uh, but um, but these people who are there, who are rude people, they will be there. Your job is to respond with kindness and with dignity. Don't forget. It doesn't mean by being kind and calm doesn't mean you are weak. Give an answer, such an answer that that person will remember all their life. Shobna, I hope I have made you understand. I still think Camagilo wants to ask something. I'm just waiting for Camagilo. Sure. Is that all right? Does word spelling and sentence construction affect the presentation? Very, very interesting question. Camagilo, let me tell you one thing in advance. Nowadays, it is a cardinal sin if you have got spelling mistakes and syntax errors and grammatical errors. You can do any Google, anyway, anything and check your spelling mistakes. Remember one thing, Camagilo, if you're following the American pattern, use throughout the American spelling, synthesizing SYNTHIESIZE instead of saying SISE. If you're using utilization instead of SATION, you might have to put ZATION. That's all right. But stick to that American spelling or British spelling, whatever you want to do that. This is not acceptable. If you still think that you've got problems, you can easily get a tool like grammatically, it says. I think it's called grammatically, okay, where you can check all your spelling. But best is Google. I always do it. There's no guarantee that we know it. There is in Google.com or in presentation you find a prompt saying review, and in review you can do thesaurus and check your spelling. So it is not that it's not there, my friend. There's plenty of tools available where you should not be using spelling mistakes. I can tell you right now, Kamogli, it really spoils your work if you've got bad spelling and bad structure of the language or grammatical or typographical errors that you've used. I'm sorry I've been tough, but that is the way I feel. You cannot make mistakes these days.
I think that's it, ladies and gentlemen. I am going to provide you with links in order to reach out to the EIT staff should you wish to inquire regarding the Doctor of Engineering program. However, we will see you next month. Up on the screen is a quick survey or QR code that you can use in order to leave us your feedback regarding today's webinar. If you have any more questions, please feel free to put it up in the survey and send us your feedback. We really are open to hearing your feedback so that we can improve upon the webinars that we hold for the DEng program specifically for the upcoming year 2026. Thank you so much for everyone who's joined. Professor Kalam, always a pleasure. I will see you sometime next year, possibly. Thank you, everyone, and goodbye.
And you have a great break. All of you have a great break. Those who are going for break, I myself will be in England on 4th of December, but I will join the session from England.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm not that I'm not going to do supervision. Don't get nervous, please.
I
Be
won't,
calm and
Professor Kalam.
compose. Okay, I will
I'll
do it.
remember to
But I'm
send you
just
the
telling you
time
that
according to British
wherever
time.
you are, enjoy the break. It's a festivity season, and season greetings to all of you. Bye bye.
Bye, everyone.